They saved the country, but now they're treated like garbage. Guys, I just felt like starting with some anime today.
The Patrian continent until the North made some inhuman. A civil war reached its heights in the Patrian continent until
The
North made some inhuman experiments to turn people into incarnates and change the tide of the battle. Those experiments gave Hank Henriette the power of a godly mythical beast, enabling him to shapeshift into a werewolf and end the war. But as soon as the war ends, the country realizes they won't be able to control someone who has the power of a god. They decide.
I pause. I'm so good at pausing, guys. Y'all see this beautiful ass man on my screen? Like, this don't even make sense. They may not even be a man either. They're beautiful either way.
His life holds no more value to them and shoot him with a god killer bullet. The Civil War started when the Northern Union Patria and the Southern Confederation of Patria discovered a precious mineral called somnium.
Oh, they're killing each other over gold. Oh my god!
Using somnium to create the incarnates. Incarnates are the product born.
Hold on, they just murking people like this? This might have to go on the watch list. We starting off with bombs and explosions, bro. That's the one thing that got me horny watching Attack on Titan.
From the research of one individual called Elaine, and soon they were used on the battlefield.
What the hell is happening?
Dominating the South with their monstrous strength and powers. The North started winning every single skirmish, but something unexpected happened. One of their comrades, Abai the Hydra, starts killing his fellow comrades.
What the hell?
Hank, who became the captain of
so they can just turn into animals, bro. This is a furry's dream.
Tries to stop the Snake Man. Abai gets his conscience back for a few seconds and begs Hank to stop him. Before Hank can do anything, the human soldiers start losing their cannons, unleashing steel balls of explosive power against the monster. After the incident, Elaine reveals to Hank and Kane that Abai talked to her about his worsening condition. But Elaine couldn't do anything because she didn't know how to stop it from happening. She explains that Abai incarnate powers were starting to take over him, turning him into a true beast. Hank then gives everyone a speech. He tells they aren't true beasts, they're still human. He reveals what happened to Abai might also happen to them. And before they completely lose their sanity, they, as incarnates themselves, should be put down by their own. A couple of weeks later, the North started marching towards the southern capital, which also costed the squad their members, losing their sanity to the beast inside them, forcing their comrades to
I never let the beast inside of me come out, because once that happens, it's over. Everyone's getting pregnant.
Put them down. After a long and arduous series of battles, tomorrow at dawn, they're gonna march to the capital. Hank notices his comrades are losing heart and announces that he's going to ask Elaine out, since pretty much everyone in the squad pushes him to be with her, which surprises the squad.
I know all your best friends are dying. Your brothers are they're all falling off mountains, getting absolutely murked. You're gonna lose your minds, and I'ma go on a date. Like, how y'all cheering for some cooch when y'all are gonna die?
Them to celebrate it with him once the war is over. Later that night, Hank visits Elaine and she asks him to talk outside. Elaine reveals to him that the war is already over and that the North and the South's already preparing for the peace treaty. Except, it doesn't include the incarnates. Even though they are regarded as gods in the battlefield, many people still fear them. And once the war is officially over, the incarnates are going to get disposed of. Elaine then shoots Hank with a god-killing bullet, and tells him that all incarnates will eventually lose all their humanity to the beast inside them. Once that happens, the incarnates will be the greatest threat that humanity will ever face, greater than the war itself. Elaine tried so hard to find a way to prevent incarnates from becoming mindless beasts, but her only solution is to kill her furry comrades before they become a menace to society.
W plot twist! Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. That is interesting.
Especially since she created them in the first place.
You created them?
She also adds that Hank's too kind and gentle. He'll try to stop her, so she has to kill him first before going after the remaining incarnates. With her is their childhood friend, Kane Madhouse. The two plan to kill the squad tonight, but then something happens. Kane betrays Elaine and shoots her. As Hank's vision fades, he sees Kane laughing before finally losing his consciousness.
Double plot twist!
Later, Hank wakes up in the military hospital. Second Lieutenant Leeser.
I want to be in the military. Sign me up.
Runecastle tells him that the war is over, the Incarnate squad disbanded, and most of them became insane and was sent off by Kane to go wherever they want.
Damn.
She also tells Hank that Kane and Elaine have been missing since that night, after being betrayed by his childhood friend. Hank
wow,
goes on a mad
both of them. You guys, so you got blicked from your childhood crush, and your childhood crush got blicked by your best friend. Oh man.
To slay the remaining Incarnates and find out where Kane is. And so Hank goes hunting, starting with his friend and comrade, Eddie. Eddie tells him that he's a war hero thanks to the power of the Incarnate. But Hank tells him that Incarnates don't have a place in this world.
Why does he have silver hair?
Especially if they're going insane and killing people. Hank throws his spear and detonates the bomb attached to it, killing Eddie. A few days later, Hank...
So he's hunting down his own people? Self-hatred?
Visits William Bancroft's town to kill him. William Bancroft returns to his town in his dragon form. Although he's been relatively tame compared to Eddie and Abby, Hank has to kill him to prevent him from becoming a threat to the people. While resting in a bar, a girl suddenly bursts into the room and shoots Hank with a rifle. But normal bullets can't easily kill an Incarnate, and so Hank goes after her and takes her away. He interrogates the girl and she reveals that she's John William Bancroft's daughter, Shawl. However, Hank's got someone in mind. Danny, another Incarnate in town, who is his target. He tells Shawl to stay put and goes to confront Danny. Hank faces Danny and tells him of his crimes, which are looting merchants on the roads and pillaging their wagons.
I mean, you know, like, someone has to lose their money, bro. Like not everyone can have it, so why not go after the merchants? I mean, they're scummy anyways.
Hank asks Danny if he can still remember the oath they swore back then, but Shawl interrupts them and goes between them, trying to stop Hank from killing Danny. Danny transforms into a rhino-like beast and starts attacking Hank, but Hank's already on his shoulders. Hank pierces Danny's chest with his bomb spear, detonating it as soon as he gets off the creature. The bomb explodes, and with Danny's
killing all his best
Hank
friends.
delivers the final blow. But before he can do that, Danny tells him that he only did that because their town is so poor they couldn't even drink coffee. With his final words heard, Hank shoots him down, finally ending the horrors that merchants experience while traveling roads.
Damn.
Before leaving, Shawl asks him if he's going to kill more of his comrades. Hank answers that they swore an oath. Once someone happens to turn into a beast, they must die. Shawl tries to stop her, but Hank's already made his mind.
Okay, this is kind of
decides
depressing.
to accompany him on his monster hunting quest.
Why? Why is she coming? Why is she coming? Did anyone invite her? Chat, did y'all invite her? Because I didn't invite her. Did anyone invite her? Because last time I checked, I didn't. Did y'all?
Quest. A couple of days later, Hank and Shawl arrive in a town that's currently being terrorized by the Minotaur Incarnate. Apparently, the Incarnate creates a fortress made by disassembling the city inhabitants' house.
That's so corny.
While also telling everyone that the enemy will be coming. There's no better time than now to prepare for war. Lisa informs them.
Do they not believe in bras in anime? Like, do bras not exist? Or do they not make sizes for her?
That they need to put a stop to the guy, as every citizen will become homeless if he continues to build his fortress. Hank tells Lisa that he's going by nightfall, and once the night arrives, Shawl accompanies him into the fortress entrance. However, while exploring the fortress, Shawl springs a trap, which almost slices her in half, but Hank saves her just in time. She then asks Hank about the Minotaur, and Hank tells her about Theo's backstory. Hank tells Shawl about Theo being a panicky and full of PTSD, which didn't surprise him given how Theo erected such a massive fortress full of traps.
Oh, poor Theo, man. He just misunderstood. He just wants to prepare for the war. He's a misunderstood soul.
Once they reach the entrance, Hank leaves Shawl to face Theo.
Hank
finally reunites with Theo, and the Incarnate greets him with his
OLI left the chat cheered. X100. Have you seen the anime Kakagurui?
I did more than just watch it. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I did more than just watch it. Yeah.
his usual anxiety over imaginary enemies. Once Hank clears his intentions, Theo transforms into a minotaur, activating his trap cards. Hank becomes trapped from Theo's barrage of projectiles, and as soon as Theo's about to finish him off, Hank transforms into a werewolf.
What the hell?
Minotaur's traps are no match for Hank's keen senses and insane agility.
I'm tired of these niggas just transforming into shit. I don't even understand.
Once Theo's trap hurls Hank into the air, he uses the elevation to deliver a swift and devastating claw attack that rips through Theo's stone axe and iron armor. With Theo's final words delivered, Hank delivers the final blow, killing his comrade once and for all. A couple of days later, Hank and Shawl travel by train to another town.
How did they... Hold on. Were train rails actually like this? There's no way they had a train on the side of a fucking mountain. There's no way this is a safe idea. All it takes is one big rock. One big rock.
But before they can proceed, Lisa stops the train and briefs Hank about another incarnate. Apparently, a benevolent incarnate called the Behemoth is on a collision course with the recently built Iron Bridge, a connecting bridge between the north and the south. As soon as he knows the details, Hank tells everyone his plan and waits for the Behemoth to arrive. As soon as the Behemoth arrives, they start firing, which
the Behemoth. As soon as the Behemoth arrives,
disables the monster. The next morning, the same guys who made the bridge start ranting about the Behemoth taking too long to be killed. Shawl also tries to convince Hank not to kill the Behemoth, but then explosions occurred later that night, which enraged the Behemoth up. Hank transforms into werewolf again to stop the raging incarnate. After a series of attacks, they manage to blow the monster's guts out and trap it. However, the monster still moves, walking as fast as it could toward the bridge. And then, an area collapses from the cliff's edges, revealing the view of the ocean. Apparently, Artie's just a man of few words but longed to see the ocean. As soon as the monster sees the ocean with his own eyes, it falls.
Now that's sad. That's sad. That nigga like Eren Yeager. Or like Armin. He's like one of them, man. Oh, that was sad.
A couple of days later, the group arrives in another town being terrorized by another incarnate. The next day, the group sees the victims of another attack and one of the kids confesses that he saw what happened last night. Lisa tries to interrogate.
They have been really consistent with Lisa's mole. Like, I thought they would like forget where it is just because that's usually how like animes get when they don't have that big of a budget. They forget like important things like the mole, but they haven't yet.
Interrogate the kid, but he runs off. Shawl tries to talk to the kid but ends up getting targeted by the incarnate gargoyle. Once again, Hank arrives just in time to save her. The gargoyle tries to tell Hank that what he's doing is pretty much justice, but a little bit more bloodier than usual. Hank doesn't accept this and the two square off, forcing the gargoyle to flee. Later that night, Hank confronts the gargoyle once again to end him, but the gargoyle shoots him with a god-killer bullet. Hank reverts back to his human form. As soon as Shawl and the kid are about to get absolutely murdered,
what is the woman gonna do?
Hank removes the bullet by force and charges toward the gargoyle, piercing through its chest, killing it.
Oh, so the woman still hasn't done nothing yet. Interesting. Interesting character choice y'all have. Like, what is her purpose? Because I haven't seen it yet. Huh. So he was able to just rip the bullet out. Why can't everyone just rip it out? Is he the only one man enough to like go deep into his own guts and search through his insides and carefully extract the bullet?
However, Kane arrives and kidnaps Shawl. He tells that Hank must attend their invitation or Shawl will get an Elaine treatment. Hank attends the party, only to end up getting surrounded by incarnates. The attendees are all nobles and royals from all over the country sympathizing with Kane's cause. But they get turned into a bloody soup as the incarnates go on a killing spree, murdering everyone. Hank tries to fight off the incarnates, but he's simply outnumbered. Luckily, a group of soldiers arrive and start shooting the incarnates. One of the soldiers fires off a cannon at Kane, making a hole in his chest.
Nigga ate it.
Hank sees this and harpoons Kane right on the face, detonating the bomb afterward. But Kane's powers fully heals him back
so he
up.
did eat it.
He then shoots Shawl down, triggering Hank's...
Kane! This is the boy, this is the man that shot the guy's crush. Okay, we're back at the beginning. Okay, cool.
Memories of losing Elaine, his loved one. Those memories make him transform into a giant white wolf, ravaging the town. He then goes missing after literally turning Whitakirch into a mess. A few weeks later, Hank finds himself aimlessly traveling.
So he was cool for 5 seconds and then disappeared. Like, what?
Into the frozen mountains somewhere in Patria.
This is gonna end with old girl having to kill him. Watch. they're gonna be like, kill me. The beast is taking over me, and she's gonna be like, well, I don't want to kill you, and that's gonna be the ending.
After walking a little bit, Hank gets attacked by another incarnate,
or
a
did she
werewolf
die?
just like him. The werewolf asks him why he declined Kane's proposal and keeps pressuring him to transform into his real form. However, Hank's too weak to do anything, especially after transforming into a massive train wreck. He tries to flee, but the incarnate can smell him from afar. The werewolf charges at him and attacks the tree he's hiding behind, but Hank dodges the attack and manages to shoot the werewolf, who still resists and charges at him, injuring his left shoulder.
Like, I don't even know whether they're
Hank's
fighting right now.
display of power, the werewolf tells him he'll make him transform and leaves the scene. That night, the werewolf finds Hank in the same spot again and challenges him, but this time around, Hank transforms into his werewolf form
Why
and
is this
squares
happening,
off
though?
with the beast. The two monsters fight, and as
Oh,
Hank
it's because the black guy, the purple guy's working with the other man. He was like, why didn't you accept his proposal or whatnot? Okay.
mindlessly attacks the werewolf, he remembers his transformation as the giant white wolf and reverts back to his human form. The werewolf finds Hank's power play super pathetic and decides to throw him at the nearest cliff. He then keeps on stomping Hank's bulky chest, but the same soldiers from the Whitehecker saves Hank. However, Hank falls as the cliff starts to collapse. Hank wakes up on Shaw's lap and she tells
Where
him
the hell did you come from? Why are you here? How? Okay, bruh. Okay.
that she went back to her hometown. Shaw tells her that her father, whom Hank previously shot dead, reanimated as a zombified incarnate, so she killed him. After killing her dad, Shaw informs him that somehow she understands why Hank is killing incarnates. Hank talks about his worries and she comforts him. Hank asks Shaw that although they might turn into monsters someday, him included, she shouldn't forget about them. They're still humans and desire to live as one. Hank leaves and sets out to finally kill his friend and comrade, his werewolf in arms. But
oh, okay, that's who this is. Okay, his friend and comrade, werewolf in arms.
The wolf's howl pierces Hank's ears, deafening him from his mission. Shaw arrives and shoots the pesky beast, giving Hank the opening he needs to transform back into his werewolf form.
So you need a cheap shop. Is that what I'm hearing? Your friend's that much better than you, then you need a cheat shot. You couldn't run the one spare. You're a bitch, Hank. Okay? You're a bitch.
The furries fight once again, and with Hank's final blow, another incarnate is laid to rest. A few weeks prior to the final battle, Kane, a couple of remaining incarnates, and their loyalists established the country of New Patria, a separate state where incarnates are pretty much the Olympian gods. With this new threat, the North established a task force to track down Kane and end his madhouse of atrocities. Hank joins this group of soldiers specializing in incarnate extermination. With a little help from Shaw and
Shout out
Lisa,
to the mole.
the battalion marches into the fortress and they're immediately greeted with arrows from the centaur incarnate, Miles. Hank transforms into his werewolf form to apprehend Miles, luring him into a trap. But Miles stands up and heals his bullet wounds, quickly fleeing the scene while the soldiers rain bullets on him. The next day, the army readies themselves to start digging trenches. Later, the trench commander signals the attack, and waves upon waves of northern soldiers rush to the fortress to eat iron balls, which is led by...
So let's get this straight, right? Let's look at this. Let's look at this scene real quick.
Later, the trench commander signals the attack, and
so what's the point of having weapons, right?
Waves upon waves of northern...
If you have to run over like 300 yards to even see the enemy. They're just running. There is nobody in sight of the enemy and they're already dying. They should have had me as a planner.
And soldiers rush to the fortress to eat iron balls, which is led
like they can't even see the enemies who's shooting out the little ball irons.
By Hank. Although the Northmen manage to get to the fortress foot, Miles ambushes them from behind and starts free-firing his arrows, killing the northern soldiers left and right. Miles tries to lure the soldiers away from the main army, but he's heading to a trap. The soldiers trips the centaur and he gets jumped by Hank, who pierces Miles's chest and fires a flare, signaling the commander to bomb his location. Although Miles manages to regrow his limbs, the area suddenly gets covered by pink mist. It was Abai's poison. Hank ends Miles' condition, thus preventing the incarnate from horsing around. But before they can do anything, Kane shows himself and blasts every soldier's heads. Hank senses this and throws his harpoon at Kane, destroying his right arm. He then fires a shot, but Kane turns into mist, only to reappear again. Kane reveals to him that he built a new empire for
it's OP.
everyone, for humans and beasts, an utopia where everyone can live in harmony. He tells Hank that humans are deranged creatures and incarnates are born from it. Seeing his friend lost his mind already, Hank transforms into his werewolf form and starts attacking Kane, who has God mode on. Kane creates multiple clones and uses them to attack and wound Hank. The sun shines and Hank turns back into his human form, but Shaul appears and reminds him he's still a human, not a monster, and he still has to fulfill his oath. Seeing Shaul makes Kane memories and rage to kick in, because Elaine loved Hank instead of him. He unleashes his final form.
Wait, so he was jealous? Wait, so he shot the woman he likes because she likes somebody else. And that was the start of this. That was the start. That is what
and starts going after Shaul, but Hank blocks his attack, megaphones him away, and gives him a nice knuckle sandwich breakfast. After seeing the Irish flag flying
nigga turned into Ultra Instinct
over their fortress, Kane flees the scene. With the new threat coming from the west, Hank and Shaul departs on an adventure to find out the magical beasts and kill them before they turn the entire continent into a grand funeral party. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.
3 out of 10.